Okay, I've just returned. Uh, Very sorry, I did not mean to make this a two-part. They just I'm living with my girlfriend and her family, and they needed some help, so I offered to help them. Or like they asked me if I could, and yeah, you know. Anyway, um, the dragon prep, right? That's what I was talking about just before I left. Let me just put this back. Saying that 1 minute ahead you want to recall so you can get position on the dragon. What's happening here? Okay, so Azir just recalled. Spica is recalled already and it's ready to go. Bottom lane don't need to recall. Oh, Ashe might want to recall, but she cannot recall anymore. Mm, Volibear is just gonna start his recall. What was I gonna say? I remember I talked about this just before leaving. So essentially because their jungler is gonna be in base, and it's not gonna be here to contest vision. After Azir shoves, Echo will need to answer the wave. Group, place this vision ideally. You could also go like a bit differently, but just like basic, so you could cover your. Normally you won't need necessarily like these two. They are handy, you could push for a further one, but these two specifically are good in this case because Echo, so you don't want to get Giga flanked. But you also have like good answers for him. You have Bard, you have Ashe, you have Set, so it's really hard for Echo to function into that team as from a flank alone. So you'll need probably like Volibear with him if ever. And then them to try to pinch you. But if they try to pinch you, have Ashe Bard, you could just decide on which direction you want to go, you know. So anyways, the reason why I was saying that people need to be here first is because in this specific case, for TSM it's a lot easier to control this area. Actually, this might be even easier. It's a lot easier to visualize. Like, Bard as you already have immense area control, and they're going to be the ones pushing for vision. They could also clear wards a lot easier than Echo. Volibear just recall, so he cannot be here. Karma is in lane with Senna. Ashe just saw them. These two are top. So TSM would just have a lot of vision, and then it will be really hard for Volibear to walk in. It's like, this path is probably the easiest. Through bottom will probably be the best in this case, because all these angles will be cut. Maybe you're able to cut Ashe off, and then you just force a 4v3. That's probably your best bet. But the main reason why it's so important to set up the vision so early so you do not get caught off. Because then you have to walk in. It goes both ways. Like, say if TSM was on the other side and then they had to. Like, say if TSM was on the receiving end, obviously this is a bit different because it's a lot easier for TSM from blue side to check the dragon. Because you could just walk inward, you know. It's a lot easier. While this, you need to walk in and you're going to see them before you see the dragon. So you do not know if they're doing it, if they're baiting you, I'm sorry, or whatever is happening. But one thing that could happen, I'm gonna take off the vision, is that this is actually I think what ends up happening a bit later in the game. It's I think I actually said it probably. Like Ashe ideally will come to join them. If these two decide to go for bot turret, while say maybe like Volibear it's in between, you could just full on decide you're gonna take mid turret, which mid turret is a lot better than bot turret. The main reason is because once the mid turret is down, the enemy has to defend in this form. Right? It's a lot harder for them to walk in to check these areas. It's a lot harder for them. While for you, the map just opened for you. You could go much further down. That's why I was talking about earlier, I think that it's much better to drop the Herald in mid, because if you end up getting the mid turret, it's just the most valuable turret. Well, if you get the bot turret, yeah, sure, it's cool. If you don't have a choice and you get like first turret gold, it's okay. But it opens yourself to like different things. The enemy could just freeze. Um, like the one thing that they will do will be like, if say you take the bot turret, then the enemy could defend like this only, right? They can still push for vision this area. They could get a vision here and a vision here, and then they're like really safe. generally, unless you are the ones pushing in here for vision, which we'll see happens a bit later in the game. But anyways, TSM wants to be first to dragon, it's a lot better for them, hence their back setup. But then you have Volibear, who has a really bad back timing, in my opinion. Wait, let me see if... I have a note on my nose that GG decides to give Dragons Volibear is recalling top side jungle with 30 seconds before Drake general time, blah blah blah. You want to recall is 1 minute 45 seconds at the very latest. At least, sorry. Also, Azir had a delayed recall because of his because he was getting blue buff.
Gonna be feeling really good about that. Didn't even make the pit stop for any sort of really heavy.
One thing that looks really bad for TSM at the moment is that you look at this compared to like nothing at the moment on Ashe. Everything else is pretty much even. This is still Echo. Echo is a bit stronger than Azir at the moment, but both of them reach their first item. Both junglers will have their first item. This guy's just recalling. But Ashe hasn't gotten a chance to recall yet. Now Bard, Spica, and Bjergsen are doing what I was talking about. You want to group up and push in. They push pretty safely. They know who is behind FBI because Double Leaf sees them. So they're perfectly safe to push in for vision. Bjergsen just shoved the wave, just as I said, and then occupy this jungle. Now I do not understand. Actually, no, they do not have wards. Double Leaf probably should have come with them. Like just to drop a pink ward, maybe like in the bush that's over here. Like you know which one I'm talking about. The one just in front of the wall. Sorry, behind the wall that's in front of the Grump. This is a really forced play again. No need to force it. What did I put here? Okay, this is the 1240 play. Okay, so the first thing was that Ashe is too far to follow up on this. Obviously, she walks up, she gives it away, and she has to dodge the Senna. They go in as Ashe gets rooted. Again, the two of them do not have damage to kill him. I understand what they're trying to get to. They're trying to get Spica to ult her backwards. But Spica's not in it yet. He was either not ready or he was actually dropping Herald. So they end up getting chunked to half for no reason. Ashe would use ult. FBI cleanse, really good. And then the play's over. TSM just traded Bard's health bar for nothing, to be fair. It was a really bad... Like, it makes no sense to go for display when you already have control of the full thing. What you could do, just show yourself here. Azir can stay in the river for the moment. See if Echo rotate towards you. And see where Volibear is at the moment. You do not know where Volibear is. Like, if you do display and a Volibear is just sitting here, this man is dead. He just dies, right? But, like, they already have position in the Dragon Pit. I understand they want to drop the Herald to get the plates. At best, what they could have done, they could have dropped in mid, because they do not get this turret. They could have just dropped in mid, funnel more gold into Azir, and then use the time that Echo has to spend to kill this, to push in for vision. Sorry, to kill this, I mean by killing the Herald. To push in for, like, maybe a bit further, use Bifrost Pink Ward in their jungle, so you get positioned. And then once Dragon starts, you just decide, are you gonna hug mid side or are you gonna hug top side? If you hug mid side, so say like if you get in a case where the Herald is dropped mid, so then say Spica just dropped this, Double Lift was kinda like this, Volibear is just leaving base in this situation, but TSM doesn't know that. Bifrost was they were kinda like this positioned. Right? If you just go and drop this, maybe with the Azir wave that he shoved in, you could get plates onto Azir. You do not get any turret, you do not get bot turret in any circumstance here unless somehow the two of the Huhi and FBI misplay this really hard. They're really safe over here. It's really hard to kill them with Ashe Bifrost and Ashe Bard, sorry. You have Ashe ult, you have Bard ult, sure, but you do not have the damage to kill them. Like you have Cinderhawk, Ashe, as I said, she hasn't recalled in a bit. Yeah, Yeah, so after you drop the thing, he'll need to answer. Volibear will probably run to mid, as he will not want to lose it. These two could just come in river. And then what you could end up doing, if they try to rotate to answer, that's perfectly fine. Use your jungle, use Ashe, use Azir to kind of zone them from rotating so they have to take the longer path. And if they end up taking the longer path, then you end up having Giga Prio on Dragon. If they do not take the longer path, and they decide you're gonna fight, you have Bart, you have Portal. You could just run out, speak out, just run out, and then you decide you take a fight on even footing in this area, where you have all of them in front of you. No, it's all about you have the heralds, you have the tempo play. You could do the tempo play where the enemy has to answer it. If they decide just to go bottom, well, they just gave mid turret in that case, right? Because you'll have these three plus Ashe kind of in the river, just hovering. It's like Bard has ult. This is really easy to dive, or like not necessarily to dive, but you just take the mid turret eventually because the herald is there, so they cannot like Volibear and Echo struggle to kill it unless they trade a lot of their health bar. Like Volibear is not even gonna be here for a while. So the turret's just gone. If they decide to trade turret for turret, it's probably the best option they have as Golden Guardians. But TSM then could just go an extra charge, force these two to be like really zoned. And then ideally you have Jax rotate, you guys rotate into the jungle all together. Probably Ashe will be the first one to go with Bard, sorry. So Speaker will be there. And in case if they try to collapse on you, you just choose again a direction. Do you want to go on bot? Um, you have Bardold, you have Ashold. Jax is also here. You're giving up some pressure, but you're just collecting the dragon. That's buying you another 5 minutes. You just got a turret. Sure, you traded a turret, but now you could just send the Zir down here and he's gonna freeze it. You're gonna have Ash Bard set to be able to defend this turret in the near future. There's no Herald on the play for like 7 minutes. No, sorry, that's the Baron timer. For a while. I don't know how long it'll be until the next one spawns. It's just the winning. You traded their mid tier 1 turret for your bot tier 1 turret. It's giga worth it. Because then you, as I said earlier, how the teams will have to defend. Their team has to defend like this, while you guys just have to defend like this. The only places you cannot really go are these two. You can still use mid to get like a ward over here so you see if people try to sneak in. It's just so much easier to defend. You still have a winning top lane. You might even put your top laner actually here and you send a 0 top for all you care. It doesn't matter. Because Jack should be able to beat Echo on the side at that point. And Azir versus Mordekaiser there should be free farm for Azir. Echo wants to be on the side lane with Azir, but this is like too short of a side lane at the moment. So you're just waiting to get your guy. I said earlier that uh, Gordon Guardians want to take a turret to be able to lane swap, but they don't want to say like take a side turret and then trade their mid turret because the mid turret gives so much control over the map. It's like, as I said, whatever. This is how you will have to defend. You give up essentially full river control, or it's really hard to contest it because you'll need like 2+ people every time you want to face check into it, unless you absolutely know where TSM's members are. Because TSMs have like turrets closer, so they could defend the minions wave way higher, which means it's a lot easier for them to access. Where like say if nobody shows bottom and you know Azir's kind of like this area, but the Echo's bot, then you as the enemy ADC, the only thing you could do is what I do? Crap. It's like clear the wave over here. So in that time, the team has time to rotate, get vision on this side or on this side, depending on their choosing. Hope it makes sense and I'm not drawing like too much crazy shit. But yeah, it's like mid turret has such immense value. I was saying earlier, like Azir and Echo want to get to the side lane, or like Echo wants to get to the side lane with Azir, so they could activate their 1-3-1. Echo wins versus Azir 1v1, but um, Golden Guardians are not the ones accelerating the game. It will be TSM at that point because they trade the gold. they're almost at, what would that be? Like 14, 15 minutes. You get the 0 on the side. They have Ash, Bard, plus, what's his name? Set to be around. They could even switch this, which will be a lot more favorable for them. Echo kind of has to go match because Mordekaiser is building only armor, so he will not be able to match Azir whatsoever. Azir is perfectly happy because he's going to be behind a cool turret. And Echo cannot go bot because, it's he cannot win versus Jax, and then their Mordekaiser is going to struggle versus Azir, so they're going to have like two losing sidelines, which it's not what you want. They're like 3 core, as I was saying earlier, it's really slippery, but it's not good at taking fights. It's not good at engaging. Their champions are Senna, Volibear, Karma. Sure, they could run at you, but you have Ashe, you have Bard, you have Set. You could disengage really easily. You don't need to take unnecessarily fights. And you could just wait for your Azir to reach 2 items and then you start 1-4ing. Hope it makes sense. I feel like I rambled a bit too much on it, but yeah. Say in a situation where the reason why I'm saying it'll be different, say they get the bot turret, that is Golden Guardians team, and now say this is the only turret that's taken down, and now Azir has to go to the side. Now, obviously, besides the strategic threat that TSM can only defend kind of like this, or sorry, like this ish, depending on how far. You could drop a ward here, but that's about it. You cannot go past that point. This gives you control over all the dragons that come. You'll have Echo in Azir. Echo will just shove in Azir, then threaten to walk like this. There's still a turret here, so Ashe and Bard could potentially be threatened to be dove or just pushed off turret, anything like that. Golden Guardian still doesn't have like a whole lot of choices because they like like hard CC to catch people, but that will be like their LDS situation. But yeah, I feel like I went on a really long tangent for no reason. But it's how like I picture these teams having to play the game in order for them to give themselves the best chance. So anyways, this play makes no sense. Just straight Bifrost health. You drop the Herald, like sure. It's fine, you're gonna get a plate. You don't need to go over. I feel like it was a miscommunication because Bifrost took it instantly, Spica wasn't ready. So probably Spica, or like Bifrost didn't communicate it probably to Spica that he wanted to like take the turret, or take the thing. He gets an ult though. Azir was really greedy here. Took the thing, okay. Poke. Use your only escape to go like really forward while your team is backing off. They didn't notice the TP that's coming yet from Echo. So then Azir just ends up dying here. Oh no, sorry. Ashe ends up dying because he didn't see the TP. But yeah, it's like, I don't understand what they're trying to achieve. Are you ever taking this turret? No, you're not. You physically cannot take this turret with the champions you have over here. Maybe if you have Kate, that was like a full health. You have 2 people that are half health. Azir should not be this far up. Speak up. It's, he's doing fine. It's like he cannot interact with these 2 champions when they are that close to the turret. Azir is just too far up. And then that was a really good TP from Demonte that ended up getting double lift because he wasn't expecting him to appear from there. At least I don't believe. Azir ends up burning flash. So it's again, as I was saying in part 1. Wait, am I recording? I am recording. Okay. As I was saying in part 1, is that it's not that TSM are the ones that are trying to drive the game. They're the ones that are trying to do the proactive plays, which is really good, but they're trying like a bit too hard to be proactive. This was a good proactive play. Just drop the Herald, get the plates, go back on Dragon while they have to clear the Herald over here. You guys pat back here, keep control, and then you just play for Dragon or for mid turret. Because you'll have a core 4, there will be no wave here. You could run towards mid, you could, like, as I said earlier, pressure them off the blue jungle or the river to look for something on mid maybe to get a turret, or like not to get a turret because there's still plates, but maybe to pressure Echo, poke him because he has no vision in the riverside, or just sit for a few seconds on Dragon. Like at this point, you drop the Herald, you just sit, get the plates. 5 seconds, Dragon is spawning. You started on cooldown. Maybe that's what Spica was calling for.
TP play comes in, root towards Bjergsen. Decent damage dealt, forced a flash away. As there's one kill for Demonte against the shield, he wants to keep going. Is there more to be had? Obviously, gold goes to the Spica as the Herald crashes. The plate not quite claimed for number 4, but it is a lot of damage dealt. It is the gold still tied as the plate surrendered by a champion kill.
Here it is a really sneaky play by Bjergsen.
TSM just got straight up.
But it feels like they're kind of split on what they want to do. No, they got on the same page.
Despite having the numbers advantage, and because that huge HP advantage.
What comes is a really good flash by FBI. Bifrost, good ult. Bifrost, I do not know why he's walking towards them. He's literally like one basic attack from dying, and that's what happens. Spica is dead, Bifrost should have just ran. I don't know why Bjergsen is trying to dish damage back on them. You should be alive and as healthy as you can so you could collect this wave that's coming.
3-1 overall play for Golden Guardian, plus the trade, plus Demonte wants more.
He also used his second soldier that he had available, so he could not dodge the echo combo. If he had W up, but he doesn't because he just used the second one, he could have dodged the damage from echo. Because he would be able to E earlier, but his W wasn't up yet.
You're gonna be able to shove him in there. So Golden Guardian.
Yeah, now you lose the wave as well. Because again, it's like TSM being really proactive. They're trying to do stuff, but their comp wants to just kind of chill for the first 15-20 minutes and then become like really proactive. It's really good that they're on top of what the enemy is doing. Also, all the gold went only to Spica. They're the ones that are trying to get on top of Golden Guardians, so they do not let Golden Guardians be the ones that drive the game. They don't have to, but it's some plays were good. Like this Peril play, I think it was fine. It's just way too greedy. After they get a finger and they try to get a whole hand, kind of a thing. Like same thing what happened bottom lane when Volibear got Bart. Karma got Bart ulted and she didn't have flash. They're like, oh, she doesn't have flash, kill her. And then Volibear actually ends up flashing over the wall and killing himself. It's like TSM. Oh, we found out that they were trying to do this play for so long bottom, and we stopped it. Now let's try to get a kill. It's like, no, you should just stop that. Okay, we stopped it. You know, instead of like risking your late game for one kill because you weren't even fighting for anything.
But FBI, watch his flash from this situation. This was just really well done because they have now used
this flash from FBI was really nice.
And then just flashes straight over.
He delayed himself from dying so long. Firefrost, then he walks too close and he dies. Spica was dead after he got on FBI. Excuse me.
Really good wave clear there.
Let me see if I had any other notes that I put. Yeah, I put that TSM. Oh no, this is just, sorry, I was reading some notes, but it's for the following play. So now, like, TSM got the bot turret.
He's got to be respectful of what could be turret aggro. Just out of range of that one. Hans's ult gets him pretty much nothing. Heals back to some health, but hey.
Azir is way too far up on the bot lane, to be fair. That's like the first issue. When you do the 1-3-1 and you do have a turret behind you. I was just looking at the minimap. There's no objective up. So it's like, you saw, where can I move? He didn't see yet Volibear. But he knows that Echo is in the side lane with him. Where's Pika? He's mid lane, okay. So it's like, he's just so far up. The only vision that TSM has is like here. He's just way too far up. He's not like at a point where you could kill Echo. Echo, it's just looking for a play bottom for whatever reason. Like they see, did they see Bjergsen? Hold on. Yeah, they see him. They see him that is that far. Echo even put like a question ping on him. It's like, why is he so far up? Volibear is looking for a play mid instead of looking for something on Azir or on the side lane. Remember when I said that? Their core 3 is really bad at catching people. Especially these 3 people. Ashe is the easiest, but there's Bardold, there's Ashold, there's Settled. You have so much disengage. The only thing they have for them is run at them, and maybe a route from Senna, a long range route. Right? So I'm just looking at the map, it's like, maybe he's not looking for a pick, he's just farming at this point. But it's like, his play should have been just run bot and show Azir you cannot beat this far up. There's nothing up, you do not care about this. Top lane is already, like if you go top lane at this point and then they mimic you, you just lose. Because your hunter is already like too low. So the top third is pretty much gone anytime soon. Instead, decide to look for something mid. Echo roams from bottom lane. This is what I do not understand. Why does Echo roam from bottom lane? He wants to be bottom with Azir. He wants to be alone with him. I don't get it. Echo loves when he's in the side lane with the enemy mid laner that's a mage. Azir also doesn't have flash, they know from last fight. I do not understand why he's looking for a play mid. He should just be shoving this back and pushing Azir back. Volibear could be in here. You could just take full control of the bot side jungle. Because what ends up happening here is that they're looking for a play in this area when their top side is the weak side. Like Mordekaiser is weaker, definitely weaker than Jax. And they're also late because they're also late because they're already planning to. TSM is doing the right thing. They're planning to push the vision towards their top side. They want to play towards their strong member, which is Jax. And Golden Guardians are like, you know what? We're gonna try to counteract this instead of keeping Echo bot. Forces here to walk back. Use. I mean, they don't have TP advantage. It doesn't matter. This is also really bizarre. The two of them just face check a bush. I don't understand. You know they are there. There's no other place could be. Maybe like here. Just walk like this, put a ward. There's no reason to walk through there. They just get double stunned.
This lane starts to go bad here, but they find the pick.
Or like, sorry, FBI gets stunned because of Fuhi.
They're going to go for the re-engage. Bartleby buys some time, but the re-engage, the stun, it's not going to be there just yet as Biofrost flashes the magical journey.
There's like a few things. Okay, so there's a bunch of things that are happening here. Mordekaiser and Jax. Mordekaiser is not going to tell his team in time that Jax is coming. This will be like proof. This is proven because some members run this way towards Jax instead of all running this way. Also because the Monte will end up taking this bar portal. Like, the play's already finished. What happened? What happened here? It's GG. They face check into TSM. They know they could face check into them because they have Echo almost here. Volibear is a bit far. Volibear doesn't even do anything here. They face check too early too. They should have just waited for Volibear to get here and let him face check. Then these two will need to run. And then you could take control of the top side river if that's what you want. It's like, in a perfect world, what will happen here? Because GG are the ones making the proactive play and TSM are just letting Azir farm bot, which is fine. That's what TSM wants to do at this point. It's like they're caught in this position where they have a bunch of wards on the top side. And they want to play towards Hunter because... they want to play towards Broken Blade because he's beating Hunter at the moment and it's going to keep beating him throughout the game. It's just how the matchup works. It's like... what TSM should do... Oh, we see that they're trying to contest us here. Echo's not bottom. I mean, look at the wave. Echo's not answered yet, this wave. We do not see Echo on the map for a bit. All TSM has to do is just walk a bit around, wait to see if Echo answers. If he doesn't answer, then you could take... if he does answer, then you could take this fight. But if he answers, you know he's here. The other thing that's really misplayed by GG should be something like this. You should have your Volibear probably face check around. You could even have maybe like Karma should probably be here, just put a word. Volibear should maybe come through here or this area like this. Because what should probably happen, the two of them are kind of out of position. I understand they're trying to go for top lane, but because they're not aware where Echo is, what will end up happening in an ideal world is that they will get pushed off here. They try to go onto them, but they have no damage. Like Ashe does not do any damage at the moment. And they're also on numbers, so they need to disengage. They will end up getting pushed to the side. Bard obviously pours through here, and then they have to run around towards the mid turret. So they'll come something like this, right? So that means GG will get priority on this wave, kill the wave, and then that's it. They cannot do anything anymore. Like TSM, all they have to do is just run here. I mean, it's perfectly fine. Because it's... like, even if Echo is here, this doesn't change anything. They cannot dive mid. They cannot get mid turret. There's no wave. I do not, like... There's a bunch of... This is, again, like, TSM being really proactive. But there's nothing to be proactive around. There's no objective. Like, sure, Herald. Maybe that's what GG is grouping for, but you do not want Herald after 14 minutes. After this timer, it's just a bait. The minutes that you're losing bottom, it's how much is it? Like 160, I think I said. Yeah, like a cannon wave is like 160, right? This looks like a cannon wave. This looks like 7 minions. So you're losing 160 bottom. For display plus XP, you're getting the Herald. What's the Herald gonna get you? It's like, sure, it gets you one turret. That's like what, 300, the tier 1, it's how much? I think it's the outer turret gives you 250 local gold and 50 global, so everyone gets 50. So it gives you like what? 50 plus the 250. Wait, I'm having a really hard time. 250, 500 gold, right? And then you divide that. Where are you? Why am I struggling so hard? Okay. So it gets you. Did I delete this? Okay. So 160. You lose probably another wave of minions because you'll need the time to rerun here. And then Azir will have the tempo advantage. Now, where are you going to drop this Herald? You probably want to drop it mid. It's going to give you like what, 300-ish gold total? Like 50 global gold and then 250 local gold. It's like, just, I mean, it's just like mathematically you're losing it after the second wave that's wasted in bot lane. You do not want to waste your resource like this. This like Herald means absolutely nothing for GG, and they should not look for it. They should look to probably punish Azir. If they're doing this play, that's perfectly fine, and say they do not want to punish Azir, they still want to not give TSM the Herald to crack the top turret or the mid turret, that's fine. You do not need Echo to be here. Echo could still be bot. Echo just should never leave bot in this case. He wants to be in the lane with Azir. The longer Azir doesn't see Volibear, the scared he has to be, so he has to be like further back down. And then use Volibear to push the vision back. So Karma, Volibear, Senna, they could push the vision back. They're not afraid of dying at any point versus these champions. You're not afraid of TP. You know they do not have TP. They have Jax, for sure.
See that this lane starts.
So they get a pick.
Here, but they find the pick on FBI potentially.
Because they do not know, but this will just end up with them running. They cannot get mid turret. I already said they have no minion wave. Bard, because how Bard works, he'll be able to make everyone live safe. Sure, they could give the Herald. If they give the Herald, that's perfectly fine. They are already losing one wave here. Azir would just shove the next wave. And then in the meantime, Ashe, Bard, and Spica will just position in mid lane and push for vision on this side. So that way, Echo and whomever will try to assist bottom lane. So what will end up happening? Let me put it like this. It'll be a lot easier. So whatever, they run around, right? This is the path that they just did. The engage happen. And now they decide, okay, we need to protect to get this Herald. the three of them obviously have to stay. Ash, sorry, not Ash. These two will probably have to answer a wave first, while Volibear just kind of sits around. They both answer wave. They're like, alright, we try to get Herald. Well, you cannot get it with him. Echo has to be here if they want to get a Herald, because Jax and him, Jax wins. And this trio is just like neither of them kill each other. So Echo just has to run bottom, or he has to stay. In this case, if they really want the Herald, he has to stay. If this is what happens and Echo stays, you just keep your Jax top. You have these people shove, and then run into the bot side. Put vision. So now when Echo has to answer back bot, one wave will already be a third by the time they start Herald. Echo has to recall and then run. Then by that time, half of the second wave will be missing. So that'll be like 240 gold already out. So like one wave and a half. Well, one cannon wave and a half. So here, we'll just say 210 to be fair. So like say it's not a cannon wave. 210 gold plus the XP that went to Azir for free scaling. Echo didn't get anything of that. They got Herald. It's like, okay, sure, it doesn't do anything for you anymore. It's like past plates. It has like such bad value. And now you're down in tempo. Your Echo cannot push the Azir out because of all the vision that it's on the red side. They could appear back in mid lane. They just run around back. They cannot take the turret, even with a Herald. I think the turret is still too healthy. Can I see like a frame of it? Yeah, it's way too healthy for them to take it. So they will not drop the Herald instantly. They will just shove, and now they have to answer back vision in the bot side. They'll probably just herp walk back here, try to clear the vision. So now Echo could play as he wants to play. Overall, just like his roam, it's just bad, right? This is like in a ideal world what I think GG should do, how TSM should answer to it. If they did what they did, if like the way GG played is probably what TSM's answer should be. Just let Azir be on the side. He's free scaling. This Herald means absolutely nothing. Post 14 minutes, Herald has like really bad value if you're trading like a bunch of minion waves and XP for it. And then what GG probably should have done is just, as I said, you could either keep him here with him and use these two to pressure Azir off, which they will end up doing later because Azir it's an easy target to dive. If you have like Volibear and Echo, you just let Senna keep farming mid. She has cleanse, so she's less vulnerable to Ashe ult. She's really vulnerable when she doesn't have the flash to Bard ult. So you just clear the waves as like ideally as close to your turret as possible and let your Karma kind of walk around with your volley. Push the vision up here while TSM it's full pushing towards top side because that's what they were doing earlier. They were pushing towards top side. And just look to play off the pressure that you're getting bot. Sure, they'll get Herald. They'll take the turret top, but that's inevitable, you know. What you want to make sure is that your Echo will be enabled versus the Azir here. If he becomes enabled, you also have Senna ult, so that makes it a lot easier to dive. As long as as long as you do not give the mid turret, you should be fine. There's like you kind of have to forfeit this Herald if TSM really wants to go for it, although I think it will be a waste of time for them too. Unless it's just free and it's Pika kind of solo it in between like mid waves that Ashe kills. The top turret, it's inevitably gonna fall down because just of how like this matchup has been going, and because TSM has got a prio on the top side of the jungle, Mordekaiser should just be like safe-ish. He has the ult, so he doesn't. As long as he's not dropping below like 80% or like 70%, he should be really hard to dive and not killable. Okay, let's move on. The Monte just trolls by taking that portal. I think it's really bad and out of sync. I think there's like two things that could be happening here. As I said earlier, Mordekaiser's probably not telling his team quite in time. Like Jax is already leaving. So Mordekaiser should be yelling at his team. Jax is coming to you, disengage. The Monte just takes it. Feels like the rest of them know. The Monte probably didn't know. You never take a Bard portal. Bard will just stun you at the end of it. You cannot do anything. So then he has to ult. And because everyone was just waiting on him, they didn't run this way instantly. Now Hohi was on this side, Closer was on this side as well. They ended up splitting and then end up dying to Bjergsen coming for a clutch flank. TSM decided they're gonna flank on this, but the play was already over. Say if GG responded properly, like at this point, when Hunter is telling his team, hey look, sorry, like at this point, when Bard is out, you should realize at this point that, hey look, there's nothing happening, Bard flashed, do not take the portal. If they just decide, alright, well, we're just gonna run here, instead of the Monte taking the thing, this roam makes nothing, this roam makes nothing. Right, so Azir, best play would have been to stay bot. Best situational play, obviously in hindsight, was just to come here because he got a triple kill at the end, or a double kill. But that's not on, say, like how to put it. That's, it only ends up working because GG plays it bad.
But now Hellthorn's getting a bit low. Bjergsen wants back in. He has the ulti.
It was really good play from Azir, and he ends up killing everyone.
A whole lot done. 2 kills picked up. Make it a third. Huge out of the TSM mid laner.
Going on in, scooping in multiple
when I first saw this game, I was like, alright, at this play the game was over. Remember when I said earlier, 2k ahead, GG by 20 minutes. TSM is now ahead almost like 2k by 16 minutes of that play, so that was really big for them. Excuse me. Anyways, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse on this one play. What I tried to say is that it was a good roam from Bjerg. It was not the ideal play. It ended up working because the enemy didn't react in time for Broken Blades play. You can see here how like they're indecisive to which direction they want to go. Look at the FBI. You see he wants to run there because he saw Azir, but then he was like, oh crap, there's the Jax above me now. What do I do? He clearly wasn't expecting the Jax to be above. So it's probably miscommunication combined to like bad decision making from GG.
Nails the binding. They kill off multiple members, and TSM get a big injection of gold there. Bjergsen has been playing very well throughout all playoffs. It feels like.
And now we're back to state of Azir inside until 2 items. Then you could group.
Talking about how their whole team knows Bjergsen is caring right now, that he is playing incredible. How bad.
Okay, Bifrost is doing a good job, a really good job here to prevent them from running through here or from getting like deep vision, because that will make Bjergsen a lot less safe. At the moment, he could only clear like until like this lane, like this pad. He cannot go further than this because he knows everyone's in the bot lane. So Bifrost here is just kind of protecting Bjergsen. He also would like to get a ward here. Same with Spica, he would like to get a ward like this area, but it's probably not going to happen because GG have a position in there. Echo shows bot, so he shoves the Azir into turret. Oh yeah, one thing that I forgot, I saw it on my notes. I was blazing back. One really weird thing. After this play, Mordekaiser recalled on top and then he ran bottom lane.
Going on in, scooping in multiple.
What is it on the minimap? Which was really weird. I think he ends up clearing that wave and then Echo goes there and clears the wave, or like whatever's left. Right, because on this frame, Mordekaiser's back top. And Echo only has plus 11 CS. That was weird.
It feels like for TSM, double it. After their previous loss,
I also put a note that this is exactly the setup that GG wants to have. They want to have a 1-3-1 where top lane is not bleeding too hard, or like the Jax versus Mordekaiser is not bleeding too hard. The wave was just shoved in. Jax could also probably just freeze it if you really wanted to, because TSM already have a dragon. Do they need to flip over this dragon where they have no vision? Jax could probably just freeze this and try to abuse his 1v1. Sett could also run top. There's a few things that they could do, because they are not on a timer. GG is on a timer. TSM have already won in my eyes at this point because they are the ones ahead. It's just a matter of could you execute on your win cons at this point. GG have the ideal setup here. They want to do the 1-3-1 where they pressure onto the echo lane. So they put pressure onto the bot lane. As I said, Azir cannot walk too far up to clear waves.
Well, so far so good. Top lane is up 1 kill because of the movement of the team.
Firefrost. It's just Bart things. Azir takes a recall with a minute before dragon. That's just on the dot. And then he's gonna run mid. So TSM at this point, you can look at this and you can decide, okay, TSM wants to fight this. They're gonna push mid into bot. They'll give up this turret. That's perfectly good. And this is the play that well, it will end up happening, but I'm gonna let it play first. What will end up happening is that TSM, I think they get a good fight here, and then they zone people from roaming through here. So they get first turret, and then they get the charge of the Herald on the second turret, because nobody could walk through like these two entrances to defend. I think they get just one pick on Huhi. Yeah. Huhi just overextends here. With no flash against the Bard. Spica kind of screwed up his E. Now what Bifrost, what these two should do, should walk through here. Probably Azir as well. Azir should probably walk like this. Spica obviously wants to come, just drop this and then walk back through here. Or go around. You want to make closer take as long as of a route as possible so you could get the two turrets as quickly as possible.
The Drake to spawn in 25 seconds. And that was
right, he drops this here. Bard should be here to prevent closer. Bard does not do any damage to the turret. Bjergsen could be where Spica is. To put like a soldier, maybe you go over the wall to zone people from like rotating through these two angles. Because what would end up happening is, I think I might have showed it in the previous video. Whatever, their support is died. Like say they're, even if Echo was here, this is still the right play I believe. Where because they're caught off guard and TSM have the inside track, this is the path that they want to take. Now, realistically, they could take that path if they're fast enough, but TSM could just walk like this, prevent them from taking that path, this path, because they have 3 versus 2, and Ashe would just be still in mid, pushing this. You could have just the jungler just drop off the Herald over here while Azir and Echo and Bart zone them from this entrance. And then if you end up zoning them from that, once the turret falls, well, they just have to go all the way around. What's going to be their next entrance? Well, it's going to be this area. But if you take the inside track again, after Spica drops the Herald mid, he does something like this, with Bard behind him and Azir just over here. Well, now they have to take the very long path. This is assuming the two of them are here. If they're not both here, well, Echo's still bot, which I think it's where he should be. You get the inside track. This guy cannot be here. Ashe has to retreat. And you win a lot of time. By the time the Herald crashes on the second turret, Volibear is just like kind of like this area-ish. And you win a lot of time. And then what he could end up doing from there, you rotate into top side to live side vision. Is Baron coming up soon? Yeah, it's like 3 minutes. Once you, let me see, are they still in lane? I do not know why Jax is recalling. Jax should stay in lane at this point. He wants to answer bot lane, but what would end up happening is you are trading 3 turrets for 1. So you're trading 1, 2, 3 for your 1 turret. So how this will transpose after this thing happens, Volibear is just answering here. You guys just crash this turret. Your support and jungle already ran into their top side. They have camps up. Yep. Even if they don't have camps up, I think this is still the right play. You take camps, And now Mordekaiser is going to be zoned off the wave, so you get another turret. Obviously, after you take the wave, your Ashe and Azir also disappear in here. You will choose which one you want to have retreat back to mid lane, and then the rest of them just kind of pressure up here. You will only, like, if there's a wave coming and you are kind of caught in here, you decide if you want to go for a full dive on top into like maybe 2 turrets, or you decide which one of ADC or mid lane will kind of like hover mid to kill the wave. And maybe have like the support hover him, or actually Ashe hover him, because probably the 3 of them could also kill Mordekaiser at this point. It's just, and then you end up just giving this turret. That's why I think Jack should never recall up here. You 3 could just pressure this really hard. I remember I watched a video where this exact play was done against a team that I was coaching. I think maybe I put it on my application. Let me just, sorry, I'm just gonna look quick to find it. I think it's in here. Pretty sure it was this.
Okay, we're live. First thing, I'm gonna get rid of my chips because
What did I do
listen
here?
back to them.
Was it this? Maybe it was not this actually. No, I think I actually never reviewed it. Never mind. I remember I probably just reviewed it, but I never recorded it. It was the exact same play, and then the only choice for the enemy top laner at this point is to either run to the second turret, or when he sees, or to wait for his to support ADC and jungler to respawn and check in here. So he checks like this with them. He can only come through like this entrance because this is too risky. What ended up happening in the specific scrim is that the enemy top laner just kind of like sat over here and then he got caught. It's like, you do not want to be in that position. So essentially what ends up happening is because these 2 people are caught over here, you zone them, you get 1, 2, it doesn't matter if this guy is split pushing, sure you trade 1 turret, you get vision on the top side if you want, or if you do not have words, you just transpose this into straight up into top lane to look for the turret. The enemy top laner just has to retreat. You just get 3 free turrets in 1 turn, and that's just because of enemy misposition around Dragon.
Really well timed by Biofrost. He knows he has no flash, and he waited for the mantra, the E, the shield, which has that speed up to expire. So once that shield is on cooldown, you have no flash, there's no way you can actually avoid
But
it.
obviously this doesn't work now because Jax recalled. Jax could just sit in here and last it wave, and then try to crash it at the same time that his team is coming upwards.
That close range bar ultimate, so they kill off the support. The Rift Herald charges. They can get 2 towers right off this push, and TSM opening up a gold lead here, showing signs of life.
You probably want Ashe to be in mid lane in that case, when in the case that Jax doesn't recall, but TSM doesn't want to trade gold for whatever reason. I did not, like, maybe they don't know this play, or they think it's not good, or maybe what I'm saying doesn't make sense. I think it makes sense. I've seen it applied in like mid diamond to like masters and GM amateur leagues where teams actually do this specific play that I'm talking about. And in this case, it will be really favorable because you'll end up getting like maybe 3k gold lead. And you want your Azir and Ashe to reach their items. Echo is pretty much capped at these 2 items. Well, you could add that cap, and then that's it. This is capped. Ascena's just gonna get worse compared to Ashe, especially because she's going Black Cleaver. Black Cleaver makes absolutely no sense versus this team. It's like you do not empower any of your other champions with Black Cleaver, and like generally you want to go it if you could empower at least one other champion. And at the same time, the lethality build is just a lot better because TSM also doesn't have a lot of armor. They'll have just deadmans on him, and that's about it. The fights will also be really quick, so I don't even know if you'll get to proc the Black Cleaver. It's probably just a bad build. I believe it's just bad. Probably lethality would have been better. Maybe Yomu's. Yomu's plus. You probably just go like regular right after. I don't know. Maybe you go Yomu's Dust Blade. Maybe not Dust Blade, maybe it's a bit too greedy. But anyways,
Troubles.
Black
And
Liver
in this
just makes no sense here.
game, it has actually been
Instead, TSM they decided, okay, we're gonna have Jack's bot so we could get the dragon instead of going for the turrets. Because if they get, like as I said, if they get 3k, game it's pretty much finished. Azir scaled, Ashe is almost scaled. She's getting a lot of gold from like these turret rotations that the team is getting, while GG only got one extra turret for 3 turrets. Yeah, don't think I have anything else to add there.
TSM doing better in the early game, getting advantage, but it has been the playmaking for Golden Guardians that has brought them back. And I will say, there's less playmaking available for them in this game than there was in the previous ones. You know, Huhi notably had been monstrously strong for them, both on the Lux, catching bindings, and the Bard with critical ultimates. He's now on Karma, which, you know, doesn't really have as many ways to really be a game changer, so to speak.
It's true. I mean, I'm always a much bigger
See, this is really good. Like, GG know what they want to do.
Bindings and the
They know
Bard.
they want. I mean, at this point, they didn't have a choice to walk towards. Well, they could have walked towards bot side as well, but they want to set up the echo so you can split push. So you see Volibear and Karma already pushing for vision together, which is really good.
It's true.
Also
I mean,
counter
I'm always
jungling.
A much bigger fan of champions who basically aren't Karma in the late game because Karma does all their things.
Bard is protecting Azir.
Skills. Like, cool, I shield you. We're good.
Really
This is
good.
me. And the playmaking just gets better and better from the champions over the course of time. So, still favoring TSM quite a lot in this one. Obviously, we have seen Golden Guardians come back from maybe worse situations. This is still a game to be played. They have done some wonderful things across this game.
This is like really clean play. This is exactly what you want to have. You want to have I'm pretty sure I said it in the part 1. It's you want to have a setup where if you're playing against a team that is doing a 1-3-1, you want the mid lane, that's the weak part of the 1-3-1, or whichever the part of the weak 1-3-1. So sorry. Steve said wants to 1-4. You want the member from the 1-4, in this case Azir, to be on the lane that's closest to the next objective. There's no more objective bot. There's these 2 objectives. Sorry, there's this, there's this. So this is really clean play. That Bifrost come in here, check everything for Azir so he could walk all the way up here. And now they're gonna have all these people walk towards Azir because Echo wants to do 1-3-1, but his team is not in charge at the moment. Senna just recalled. There's no mid turrets. Senna's gonna have to clear the wave all the way over here, which means this is pretty much how. This is pretty much how GG has to defend. They have to clear the wave, wait for someone to answer it somewhere in the middle, or they could even answer it further up if they're really confident, like say if they have something like this of a position. And then if they answer it like this, well, there's a lot less time for Senna to walk in with the support and the jungle to clear vision. She'll have to walk in and give up like a wave that's gonna crash in exchange for the vision, so then Echo could be enabled to do stuff. But TSM know that, so they make the 1-3-1 that EG wants to do into a pretty much a 4-1. You have the losing matchup. This is still like even, but it's just a matter of the turrets are not there, so your ADC could only answer the wave in between like this area-ish. So because he answers in this, he's gonna be later. Ashe has a lot more time to walk in here, so then these 2 will get pushed out because there will be 3 while someone has to answer it, or they'll just kind of wet noodle fight in here, just like look at each other while TSM is telling them that, hey, look, you're losing 100 gold mid. And if they decide to just like do a standstill, well, that's perfectly fine for TSM. They just go and clear whenever the next wave will arrive. Because their goal is to do to like say just 4-man versus Echo.
across this series, but TSM, I think, very solidly in the driver's seat.
So, Broken Blade is going towards a fade.
You know, this one thing that I learned that's universally bad, I didn't notice it until now, is that it's really bad to have all your members recall at the same time. Because what will end up happening is that you will have two of them needing to answer the waves. And then you have these two that cannot do anything. So you get in the position that I was saying, but now it's worse because Azir could also be here. And now you absolutely cannot defend like this whole area. Because you have a what's her name? Senna answer mid-wave, and then she could come sure. You have Echo have to answer here, but by the time he finishes the wave, Vision should be in place. And then TSM could just decide where they want to go. They want to run on mid, because they had the numbers, so they'll have the priority as to decide where they want to move through, and then lose the inside track again. Or do they want to run top? And I think that's exactly what ends up happening. Yeah, that's exactly actually what ends up happening. They even send Jax mid. It's like Echo is rushing to get to that wave. Senna just has to answer a wave mid. Volibear and Karma are in the jungle. Volibear is trying to shadow the Echo, but it doesn't work. And now they realize, wait, we just screwed up really hard. That's all. That all happened just because of the 4-man reset in base that just happened earlier. Nobody was early in to spot the people that walk in. So the moment they realized that, okay, they have 4 people top lane, was just way too late. And then they end up dying. Or like Echo ends up dying.
From the first time he back down to the bottom lane, I've got homies with me, you're going down. And again, TSM in control of this game. Baron's on the map.
I would have liked if Jax just stayed bot, sorry. If Jax just stayed bot, this would have been, I think, the same situation. Ashe could shove that wave. I understand he wants to funnel it into Jax. I'm just looking at the minimap.
Don't think we'll see it this game. It probably, in all likelihood, will be Triforce, and we'll see where he wants to go.
But say like if Ashe eat this wave, and Jax is eating this wave, well, Mordekaiser still has to wait. Senna still has to wait. Nothing really changes. It's just gold distribution.
After that, I was hoping for the Wit's End, not expecting it necessarily.
But they obviously didn't knew that. What's his name? That all 4 members of GG recalled at the same time, so nobody was in the jungle. So that's why Doublelift decided to come with them and give the wave to Jax, which is fine in the end,
There's room to go for those types of utility style items. Third, Pearson though, with the heavy attack speed, 3 soldiers out. They're gonna knock down the
That's a
tower.
really
Now,
bad TP though. You should be able to look at it and realize that the Mountain's already dead. You lose. He cannot tell you how bad that TP is, because now that what this will do, and it happens later, is because Bjergsen is the only one with TP. He will need to be the one that's matching bot lane in the long lane, and that's when Bjergsen will end up getting caught twice. Obviously on his own fault, but this TP doesn't do anything here. Jax should just keep pressuring down the Mordekaiser. You have a winning side lane, just keep pressuring him down. Make it so the enemy has to send resources down. That's the best you could do. Keep it, I say, 4-1 as much as possible. You do not want to waste your TP like this, because now Bjergsen will be the one that has to go bot. Because it doesn't have, because Jax doesn't have TP and Baron's up. I think they tried to do Baron here. No, that's later. Plus now, TSM also loses a lot of tempo because they have to send someone to answer the bot wave. Because they finish the play top, they cannot get 2 turrets.
Fights happen, they're looking for picks, which is something that you want to see them doing when
they have to answer mid, they have to answer bot. Well, mid you always have to answer, but bot you should never have to answer it in that position. You just wasted a TP.
Well handled there, just focusing down the turret and then forcing him to ult back into the waiting arms of the rest of the squad. TSM have those 2 dragons. It is going to be a Cloud Soul this game, so not as much direct power, but I do think it's very effective in the side lanes.
Back to square one. See, this is the thing that I was saying. It's, I mean, just a few seconds earlier. It's if Jax is still bot, this is so good, because Azir, it's again close to the Baron.
For both Jax and Mordekaiser, it's actually really, really strong.
He does not want to be in the long lane with Echo and potential Volibear coming down. And that's exactly what's going to happen. GG know that this is what they want to be in the position for. It's like 1-for-1, where we have Azir in the long lane. I think he ends up getting chased down here.
Jumps back to the soldiers, puts turret down here as well, goes as quick as he can, and Demonte taking too much damage, doesn't have to jump out, doesn't have any MR, doesn't have quite the burst of AP. Senna will find some damage, Closer wants in, smites, claps, and it took 4 of them, but they finally find themselves
yeah, that's exactly what GG wants to do. 1-3-1 into, look for a pick. Now, obviously, it's not fair to blame the Jack CP for everything that's happening here. It's obviously not his fault that Azir just gets caught in the side.
Not as much direct power.
I'm gonna go a bit further. They see Volibear, but that's it. At that point.
Yeah, he's
When you're Azir here, oh sorry, I just realized. When you're Azir here, and you see Karma here. Top laners are like this. Mid it's here. Whatever, I don't care about the vision that's happening on the other side. They saw. What am I doing? They saw Volibear at a point here, but then he just ends up rotating instantly. Senna's just answering mid. You do not see... You see Karma in the bot side of the map. It should ring a bell to you that you're not safe to step up this far. Right? Because how do each team have to play? So the moment EG has to play... GG has to play something like this. They do not have this, they do not have this, they do not have this, they do not have this. How does TSM have to play? They have every turret. I think top turret is gone, yeah. Except these two. So TSM can still play really far up if they want to. But not this far up. Because everyone on your team is pushing to this side. You need to wait on the side lane. Because you are essentially doing a 1-3-1 right now where you have to answer the bot wave. Because otherwise the enemy would just split push and then you are caught off tempo. You need to recall and run here. And now you are a turret instead of shoving the wave and then rotating first and being there first. So when they're 1-3-1, they saw just the jungler. They see the Senna mid. They then lost sight of the jungler and they see the support in the bot lane. There's no reason for Bjergsen to step up all the way until here. He does not know where Echo is. But there's no reason for him to be here. He set up this wave to slow push. He should probably just chill and maybe take the golems. He already took the golems. You probably just chill. Or walk towards mid, see if Echo answers this. That's when you could run back and catch the wave. You cannot sit this far up. Without seeing like their jungler, you see their support that is close to you. He is literally the closest person to you that you could see and is the enemy. Your team is not anywhere close. Maybe he thought it's safe, but I just think it was like really greedy. Okay, at this point they see both, like all three of them. Oh, Echo just sees him now, and you probably realize he screwed up. Because his team is like, you have to understand how off tempo this is, because his team is doing this play. They're running towards top. Can I reset this? Okay. Okay, because his team is running towards top. He knows this. All he has to do is just wait here. Clear the wave, and then look for potential TP up here. His team just shoved the wave. Senna's just answering mid. And Azir just needs to not be overextended. Stay as close as possible. You could drop a turret here if you think you're about to get invaded. You could put a ward here too. And then you just wait. It's just a waiting game. You do not have anything to do there. He's just too far up and ends up giving GG like a way back in the game for a sec. I think it happens twice maybe.
Back to the soldiers, puts turret down here as well, goes as quick as he can, and Demonte taking too much damage, doesn't have to jump out, doesn't have any MR, doesn't have quite the burst of AP. Senna will find some damage, Closer wants in, smites, claps, and it took 4 of them, anyway. But they finally find themselves that kill. They couldn't get the kill.
TSM then starts Baron as a panic. Azir is their main damage to the Baron. They do not do any damage to the Baron besides that. They have to boards, but they don't do anything. And now they lost the inside track. This is what... Well, I don't think they could do it here, actually. Volibear and Karma should probably just cross by here. and force TSM off this turret.
Haunter could always ult the jungler. 5k health
Just look at their path.
on Baron, and there's not enough time.
They came through and then they shoved the wave. Volibear and Karma should walk in here to zone them from rotating through here, so they have to take the long way around. It's the same thing that TSM did to them when they got these two turrets. But now GG, it's the ones that should do this. They should cut the inside track, so Bard cannot port around. Like they could have been already where Hunter is. And imagine if you have Hunter, Karma, and Volibear here. Like TSM cannot do anything at this point. They just have to walk all the way around and lose the mid-tier 1 turret.
I mean, you have double blade Rooking, sure, but it's 21 minutes. The Baron is tough to take down at that point.
But now, because they didn't do that, TSM's here in time, so they could get the turrets.
There's just not enough time for TSM.
Maybe they didn't think they're strong enough. I think they're definitely strong enough to zone them.
So, that's too risky to try to finish. So Golden Guardians find a really good pick. They grab a tower on the bottom side. Broken Blade looking to trade here on Hanser, but Hanser just needs to spend all his time on the turret, to be honest. He just wants to try to wave clear and prevent Broken Blade from doing what he's got to do. If you can just trade evenly on farm, you are really happy at this point, because any sort of extended fight is going to go heavily in the favor of the Jax.
Yep, and it's going to get kind of worse before it gets better. Looking over the rune page for Hanser, not even running any chance of spell vamp. He's not running domination secondary for Ravenous Hunter.
We're back to the same setup. TSM is going to play towards top side of them. Oh no, I think now they're going to switch actually to play towards the dragon.
Any trade he wants, fights the Krugs, goes back to full and says, alright, want to do it again? You're at half. And Hanser's like, no, I don't actually. I would lose that fight.
Yep, and he went resolve secondary very likely because it's stronger for the laning phase.
Yep.
Those things like Ravenous
Azir's trying to go on Echo because he has the people coming fast. Yeah, so now it's in a good situation because TSM now want to play towards the dragon. So now all the vision will be on the bot side, so Azir is the closest person to this. Just back to the situation before the Jax TP was spent top, where Azir is in the safe lane because it's protected by his team because they are all hovering that side of the jungle. So he could push the wave and then rotate freely around. He could even like step a bit further up. Okay, maybe not that further up. I think they. I wish I could see like spectator vision, because yeah, this was a really nice catch. I do not. They see Ashe mid. They spotted the two of them. And they decided, you know what? We're just gonna blitz towards Azir. I think it's a really good call. It was probably the best call that I've seen this game. Because they actually just end up reaching Azir way faster, and nobody spots them. Nobody has vision of them here. I think now maybe Bio maybe saw them.
There's no exhaust on the Karma this game, so there's no exhaust at all for Golden Guardians.
But then again, there still could be a lot of there could be a lot of things that Azir could have done different. Like, he knows someone just hit this plant. He should not be standing over here because people could just come through lane, or could walk like this, you know. And he doesn't have vision of either or, so it's again same mistake, just overextended. Overextended into dying. Mordekaiser TP'd bot as well. He thinks a big fight is gonna happen. Ashe gets ulted by Mordekaiser. And this is just a wrap.
As Flash, he does burn it. He's trying to get away, but can't get too far. OT over the top from a couple of people. And they're gonna knock in the mid lane.
Did Bjergsen flash nothing?
There's no exhaust at all for Golden Guardians, but they're looking for Bjergsen again. He looks like
again for the play. He has.
I think at this point, I know what he was trying to do. It's really sad that he flashed right on top of Fuhi, so his E got blocked and then he dies. I guess it was worth a try. Senna's not there yet, Jax is not there yet.
And they're gonna knock in the mid laner. That is most of the gold gone. So Hanser pulls in the ulti. He's gonna catch Doublin. Doublin's gonna have a really hard time kiting a Mordekaiser without anywhere to go. He's stuck in the ring. He's stuck in the circle. Demonte gets as he comes out of the death realm. And Golden Guardians have found their
Jax
way.
should just run bot.
They one-shot the captain. This time around, you are
Yeah,
not
they just lose Dragon. Baron.
No,
I'm trying to think if they could prevent the Baron, but no. I think maybe, like at this point, maybe TSM should just call to give it. Or maybe Bjergsen should just like put a soldier here in EQ like this way. So something like W here into E and then Q like this angle into flash like this. Maybe that's better.
He looks like
Again for the play. He has flash. He does burn it. He's trying to get away, but can't get too far. Ulti over the top.
Maybe he
throw,
didn't have
tracking
W
people,
quite up
and then
yet.
back in the mid lane. That is most of the gold gone. So Hanser pulls in the ulti. He's gonna catch Doublelift. Double's gonna have a really hard time kiting a Mordecai without anywhere to go. He's stuck in the ring. He's stuck in the
Anyways,
circle. Demonte gets as he comes out of the
the
death
same
row,
reason as
and
before,
Golden
cannot be
Guardians
too
have found their way
overextended
into
when
the
you're
teamfight yet again. They one-shot the captain.
in
This time
the
around, you are not
weak
FBI
side
Miles
lane.
Frost.
Well,
No
it
chance
was
steal for you. Golden
kind of the
Guardians
strong
ties
side
the
lane,
great
but they
count.
didn't have
They
enough
ties
vision to
Golden.
cover him because there was still like half of the jungle that was not covered. They have like it cut in half. So Bjergsen had no vision in like this whole area. So he should not be that far up. Probably he should have just answered the wave like in the midpoint and then rotate up. That probably was just the better play, or like the good play to prevent from that happening.
And then everyone from TSM, the call was to defend Bjergsen, so everyone flies on in, and Hanser just gets the ultimate onto double.
And start
The
Baron.
itemization that Hanser has, with all of that armor, there's just
TSM
honestly
is
no
looking
chance.
to fight them
Even
as soon as they
if
finish
Mordekaiser
Baron.
gets
That's
into
really
this
good.
game, auto attack Ash to dead at that point, so Golden
The
Guardians
Monte is
looking
inting here. There's no reason for Echo to be this far up.
onto double with the itemization that Hanser has, with all of dead at
Like, you know, Sid does not have flash because there's this. All you need to do is zone him from the plant. So you do not need to basic attack him or anything. You just need to kind of sit in front of him and kill him. You need to have the spatial awareness that the Baron it's a 3k only.
looking for this Baron here, and it looks like they're gonna get it.
Anyways, he ults and then he just ends up dying. Baits Hoki to die with him. So say if, like, the only thing that should have happened is Hoki stays here, Echo stays here. Echo just throws Qs at Spica, Hoki just Qs again at Spica. They just want to prevent the steal, and then they all retreat towards top like this. And I think they live. But obviously, because both of them end up dying at the start of the fight.
Demonte's gonna be the one to zone out the jungler. Pete, broken blade away. He's gonna run out of help, but not before the Baron dies. Huhi gets chopped down as well, though. TSM, how much can they get? Doublelift has the
Spica's taking the really long route. It's fine.
How many
it's gonna be a really cool Ash arrow. You just have killing everyone pretty much besides Senna.
Finds closer, and you may have gotten Baron, but the gold lead's gonna go to TSM. Give the kill over, a shutdown to Broken Blade. It's TSM's time to shine.
It's revenge of the double lift after getting put in the no fun zone with Mordekaiser. Nice ultimate from
But yeah,
downtown.
they
So
should
Golden
know
Guardians
that
always running
there's gonna be a
double lift after getting put in the
counteract
no
here.
fun
They're
zone
not
with
done with the
Mordekaiser.
Baron by the
Nice
time
ultimate
Azure
from downtown.
respawns,
So
so
Golden
they should
Guardians
expect the
always bringing
TP
this
here.
Baron. The question is, can
Huki
they
and Demonte
escape?
just threw the game
Demonte
there.
trying to zone off multiple members, but he gets put
It
into
was a
one
bunch
because
of
he
like
just
throws.
dies, and
Obviously,
then
it was
Cryptic
like really
shreds through the
intense
armor,
game, but
arrives here. They burst down Hanser with
that was
the
like
ultimate, and then double
GG's
lift
win
from
play.
Downtown, nailed.
But everything
Yeah,
from
going
that
over.
point, I
So
think,
the
is
only
just
person
gone.
who actually is going to have the Baron buff there
They
is
did a
TSM.
good
It won't be
job
the
to
side
catch
lanes
back
whatsoever. They
Azir
could still group around
once
FBI, but they take
Azir
so much
was
of that power
forced to go
out
in the
of it.
bot lane
With all
because
those kills
Jax
going
didn't have
Bjergsen's way,
TP.
they extend the goal lead.
And then Bjergsen also was playing too far up 2 times in a row within like a few minutes. So it looked really bad, but now I do not understand what they're doing. I mean, I watched it and I was trying to figure out why they would 5-man group. I guess they didn't want to have Echo just match Jax here or Mordekaiser. If Mordekaiser matches, then Jax could just rotate or P could look for a TP flank. If Echo matches, Echo just perma waves clears and pass TP to match Jax if ever. And Mordekaiser maybe goes top. Maybe that was good. That's the better play. I understand they want to use the Baron play.
What can you get with one champ?
But like, or like Echo maybe should already be here. Look for a dive into them. There's a lot of things that could have gone better. I feel like this was their desperation play from GG with the Baron. I should have had someone match Jax. I'm trying to decide between Echo or Mordekaiser. Probably just Echo, and you have Echo wave clear, but he's also stronger than Mordekaiser. I mean, no, what am I saying? Sorry. You just 1-3-1 again. I don't know who you sent top. You probably sent Mordekaiser. But if he gets matched by Azir, it's really rough. You probably just have to leave Mordekaiser with Jax. You 3 people mid and then you send Echo top. I don't know. It's really rough. I think the game was anyways lost at that point, so they're just trying to salvage some things. This was really well played teamfight by Doublelift. He already knows what's about to happen. He's very aware of where Echo is, so he's hugging the farthest corner.
There's no one answering Broken Blade, so they're
Same with
just trying
Azir.
to trade for this.
This is what I was saying in Champ Select, is that they have no hard CC. Sure, the Echo W, but that's not hard CC. I mean, that's not like guaranteed CC is what I mean. Closer just runs. FBI and Hohi seemed a bit caught off guard. Hunter was just poked.
Bjergsen has death.
Azir E just over the wall. Spica is just peeling. Bard is just peeling as well. Or like, he's trying to survive rather.
Yeah, they're looking for the dive.
He never dies there.
So it does make the siege pretty decent. And so how much can Golden Guardians get?
There's no one answering Broken Blade, so they're
So it does make the siege pretty decent. And so how much can Golden Guardians get?
there's no one answering Broken Blade, so they're actually just trying to trade for this. Bjergsen has death cap. They're looking for the.
Where's Jax TPing? Oh, he's TPing at the minion over here. That's a really good TP actually. Because it forces Huhi and FBI to decide if they want to go forward or they want to just leave.
For the dive.
But yeah, anyways. Really good ult by Spica, keeping Bjergsen at double lift perfectly safe. That's just like overcommitment. And like, GG was their desperation play. They had to try to dive or they lose, I guess. That's probably what they were thinking. Probably on hand side, you just try to 1-3-1 it again, and then look for more picks on Azir. You lose team fights 100% of the time front to back. It's the only team fight that properly happened. Everything else was like pretty much a pick into sort of a skirmish or a team fight.
They're feeling it too, but they defend the Baron push here, getting more kills to their name. As Golden Guardians felt they couldn't answer the split push, tried to force, and TSM more than strong enough to withstand that push.
Yeah.
I mean, Bjergsen had the death cap before that dive happened. He is ridiculously strong on this Azir. Broken Blade's going to be going towards the Death Stance third, so he will be getting some MR into the build just in a different way. Death Stance also going to be very nice for the team fighting if you do have to group. So
now it's back to square one. Send Jack spot to match the Mordekaiser. We left Azir on the lane that your team is going to play towards. Actually no, they decided against it. Azir just grabbed the Gromp and he's grouping mid. It's probably better actually. Ekon doesn't have any more like sideline pressure at this point because the wave was just shoved in. So he needs to answer it. GG was looking for a pickle and Bjergsen on top. It's probably the only good play that they had as an option. TSM, at first they looked like they were sending Bjergsen top lane for whatever reason. I was trying to think why. He was just doing Gromp. But yeah, they just go, in the end they just 4-1. They win bot lane, they win the 4 people in the mid, and GG just has to answer. If this wave was probably like here-ish, the top wave, then probably Bjergsen will answer it first, and then maybe they'll try to catch him in here. But the wave is already here, so there's like no threat for Bjergsen to walk all the way up.
Counting a Banshee's Veil.
I don't know why they're walking towards top, just mid-bot is where they should play. With the dragons coming up, there's no Baron up. Ego keeps splitting top, you don't need to answer top. Yeah, you just could just force down mid.
Which is basically zero. Azir went for the team fighting rune, the scaling rune with lethal tempo.
Yeah, I think they should just force down mid. They have like decent vision to know they win 5v5s. I don't know why they're so afraid. They were so afraid to go like full mid. It's like Bifrost recalled at a weird time. It's like he said 2 words technically. Jax is still there. Jax will just keep pushing bottom. You just like, I don't understand what's the point of going back top. Are they waiting on an item? I don't understand what item. Maybe they're waiting on an item and I don't see which one. Because you don't care about this turret. If Echo shows up here, you just gun down mid with 4 people. And then you also win bot because you have Jax here versus Mordekaiser. So Mordekaiser cannot rotate and you're always going to be 4v3. You have the dragon coming up as well. So say in the worst case, you trade a turret for these 2 turrets, and maybe you cannot get in here because Echo's recalled, then you just retreat back to the dragon. You don't need to take dragon on cooldown, you could take it after you finished sieging their base. Because you're not on a timer, they're on the timer.
Azir went for the team fighting rune, the scaling rune with lethal tempo. He has the 3 items with the death cap and the Nashers. He will kill the front line almost instantaneously. Like, you have no durability against this guy without any match
Yeah,
resistance.
that's.
So, Bjergsen
You look
has
more
the
like a
ability
cheese
to just
play
single-handedly
that
take this team fight.
Golden Guardians was trying to do. And TSM didn't want to shove mid, they were just happy to sit and scale.
That's not too horrible. There's no
Which is
spell
fine.
vamp for Bjergsen. He didn't go Ravenous Hunter
But
either, so that is one thing he can't
it's
do.
like I was saying earlier, TSM didn't need to do anything, they just win and scale, but that was exactly the point that they were at, where they could just siege and then they win. Because GG will have no way to answer them. What he could do at that point, you just drop your 1 barred word, 2 barred words, use the trinket from Jackson like this area, and now all your flanks are covered. So the only way GG does anything is like running at you, or if double TP behind you some way. I don't even think they could do anything if they do that. You just have Bard, you have Ashe, you just ult whoever TP is behind and you nuke them, or you go forward, whichever or. Yeah. Bjergsen was greedy. He just saw them there and then he burns his flash.
But not really gonna matter too much. Demonte gonna try. He's at least equal level. Goes for some heroics. Big damage.
Demonte goes for a trade. That's pretty much how the sideline is supposed to go.
Spell vamp for Bjergsen. He didn't go Ravenous Hunter
Echo just takes a hard trade on Azir and Azir has to take it.
Balfrost's gotta be a little bit careful.
He knows there's people there. I don't understand why he's checking. Like, he saw. Did not see the Volibear.
That's not too horrible.
Oh no, he doesn't see the Volibear.
He didn't go Ravenous Hunter either, so that is one thing he
But yeah, I still don't understand. Like, he's gonna go check the bush, but if anyone is there, he has to flash out. So I don't know. Yeah, it just makes no sense to check that bush. The position you were, you could just wave clear and you're chill.
Move speed for the Jax, for the set, I would say is most useful for the Jax. Like, situationally, it can be okay, but we will see. Baron will be up in 45. We'll see if Golden Guardians want to try to force anything around there, but it would be fairly risky to be grouped up in that pit against Bjergsen right now.
0-1 and 13 on Biofrost Bard. He has done so much to set up in this
I think
game.
I tried to
Nearly
touch on
100%,
most
13
of
out 14 participation, only one of the deaths, not bad at
most
all.
of these. I
Good
touched
work
on
out of him
jungle
so
padding
far.
early
Got the Serenity
game,
that's helped
level
keep
1
it in.
draft,
Seems to
base
zip around
timing,
the
sort
map.
of, not that
Obviously, ult
much.
helps as well. It's gonna feel
Dragon
pretty fun
Baron
as well.
setups.
It's like you went S3 rounds on double
There
shot.
wasn't
You
much
saw the
setups
LCD,
because
perfect.
the
He
people,
moves towards
the
community edge third.
both Barons and Dragons were reactive, as in like they got a kill and then they did it, or they got picked and then they tried to capitalize on the pick that was happening on the other side of the map. This one they're kind of setting it up. Again, this should be the exact cutaway. Jack should be bot, Azir should be top, 4-1. The way that I'll do the Baron setup, I had it on the videos that I sent it as well. It's very simple, straightforward. That should apply to most team comps, in my opinion. It's generally the team that's ahead will start the Baron setup. So then what you would do will be like, because you're ahead, you should technically have the prio to push. If Azir is on the top lane in this case with the Echo, he'll have the priority of his team. Right, so then Echo will not be able to answer it right away. He'll have to answer it a bit further. So that will set up the whole Dragon, Baron wave, how do you call it, setup. Dragon or Baron, they will both work the same way. You just flip the map. They would just push in mid while someone's answering here. They, while some generally will be the ADC. You have your ADC rotate with your support and jungle. They get some vision in, maybe like these two. Or maybe you start like smaller steps even, depending on the team comps. In this case, you can start with a pink. You start with 1 word here. You clear the next wave a bit more aggressively, so you clear it like closer to this, while you have your 2 guys kind of backing you up from the fog of war. So once you clear that, you have a longer timer, so then you could possibly run further to put more vision. You could even try to, if you find the enemy, you could try to push them out of their jungle. So like kind of squeeze them out. Same thing with top, or if you want, you could play it through top. If you're, say like if the enemy is playing hardcore towards their thing, their bot, you still kind of need mid prio because it gives you most of the things is the shortest waves. But TSM still has a wave, a turret in the middle, yeah. So you can still clear the waves somewhere in this area. and then after kind of like be escorted. That will kind of isolate their mid laner. So then he'll need to clear a bit further down, but they're ahead, so they will slowly be able to wrap themselves in, you know, slowly but surely, a few waves at a time. They are not in a rush, they're really ahead. What will happen with top? It's unless it's a 1-3-1 champion, so say if Echo was on TSM and he wants to set in this split push lane, he will probably try to get a ward on himself over here. Maybe like a pink ward or whatever, it doesn't matter. Probably a pink in this case. You want to have a pink here, and then probably the last pink will be like this area. And then you have the first time when you walk in their jungle, and then you know that the next wave your ADC will be able to clear the wave in this area, you sweep your way in as a jungle or support, doesn't matter. So that way you do not need to put any words in like there. You know, you don't care about that bush when it comes to Baron setup. And then the way it work is that you just try to time your mid and top. If you want to rush the Baron, you try to time them to shove the waves at the same time. So when their mid and AD are answering the waves, ideally like a bit further down, that's when you kind of start it. Because then what will happen, you could have the choice if you want to reset it. You get to see everyone that comes through. This is obviously like a mega ideal situation. I do not see where the support is. Oh, there it is. Mega ideal situation because you get to see everyone as they rotate in. Obviously you have blue wards, so ideally you start the Baron, they get stopped, or like you get spotted by a blue ward, you just run back. Do the exact same thing. Maybe you lost 1 or 2 wards. You know, doesn't matter that much. You just do the exact same thing. The next time they will not have a blue trinket, so they cannot rely on that. Or maybe you don't even start a Baron, you're just kind of sitting around. You decide, okay, we're gonna bait their blue trinket. It depends on how fast the Baron is. In this case, Azir does Baron really fast. So you might not even care if you get spotted by a blue trinket as long as they have to cover a lot of ground to get to you. You probably finish it by the time they reach. You could also just have Bard zone them or ult them while the 3 of you are hitting it. Jax could also be rotating or maybe insta tipping. You know, there's a bunch of different things that you could do around. Ideally, it's just like 2 to 3 steps. Get your wave shove while the enemy is answering wave. You push for vision. After you push for vision, clear another wave, push ideally deeper vision or attempt bait. Or the other option, what you could do is if you do not want to do Baron and you know you just went for a 5v5 at the moment, after you shove the wave, because Deco will have to answer it here, you could just decide you send everyone mid, look for a play, or to siege, catch whoever it's in the wrong side of the map. Like if you catch these people like on this side because they're trying to push with Echo rather than with Senna, which will make more sense to push the vision in, then you could just decide, alright, well, taking the inside track again. Force the Senna back a turret. If they try to come at you, you just you could decide if you want to fight them, you want to run, whatever the case might be, depending on team comps. In this case, you'll probably just want to handshake it with Bardolt and Ashe. See who, if ever one of them is like off position. The only person that could realistically be caught will be Ashe. So just Ashe generally has to be the furthest back. Everyone else is real slippery. Bard, Azir, Set doesn't really care if he gets caught. He could just ult someone backwards. Yeah, that kind of covers like Dragon and Baron setup. The vision control, I kind of touched on it, I believe, when I'll point to the 1-3-1 and how each team wants to push towards whichever side. So I'll say the Azir wants to play on the shorter lane because the shorter lane to the objective because the vision is generally going to be spent in that area. So in this case, when the Baron's coming up, Azir could be top lane in this case because all the vision will protect him. So that's the vision control that you'll just use. You could do it in very basic stuff like this is pretty simple. I think like these words are pretty like common. There's nothing really weird. If you're in the enemy team and you try to prevent Baron, it's a lot harder. You have to look for a slip up in the sense of like when I was saying that the enemy is pushing and then pushing the wave like more aggressively, maybe at that point you look for a catch. You just have your mid or your ADC give up a wave and then look for a catch to break them. If you get a pick, that buys you at least like a minute and a half. So then you have time to set up the waves. Maybe you are gonna be the one in the driving seat or in the tempo. Generally, the team that's ahead is gonna be in the tempo, but if you get a pick, they have less numbers. You could be the ones that like push them back, force the Azir to come here, kind of screw up their formation before they regroup, and then they decide, all right, we're going back to it. We're gonna try it again. This time nobody gets caught, kind of a thing. You know, that's kind of like the idea. If you're the losing team, you just kind of have to look for a pick or anything that could delay the enemy from doing the burn. Maybe you could have your jungler look for a pick in the bot. Obviously, in this game, it's really not the case. Jax will probably just 1v2 them. Say if it was, I don't know, say if it was something a bit more manageable and you end up killing the top laner and then you have everyone just run up, you could try to take a 4v5 at Baron while they're doing burn. You obviously have to spot it really early, or you have to be really sneaky with your kill bottom. Otherwise, you just lose the Baron. Yeah. Teamfights, there weren't that many. Skirmishes, I kind of touched on every single one of them. Teamfight, there was just the teamfight that happened at the second tier. It wasn't really, it was just kind of GG running in. And TSM just being a better position and playing front to back. A good position from double lift and Azir that fight. Like as I said, Ashe is the only person that could be caught, and he knows that, so he was the furthest behind. I don't understand why they're looking for a pick. This is exactly kind of the setup that I'm talking about they did. They shove everything, and then they kind of chill in the jungle. I want to see how they did it properly. They pushed, now Ashe answered. So now Ashe is gonna walk with them. He could have taken a more aggressive path, but it's okay. Now while someone's answering mid, you push for vision. That's actually what I was talking about earlier. You clear all the vision. As your shoves, they need to answer bot wave as well. And now you could just wait to see if they're gonna blue trinket the Baron. Obviously, in this case, I could see that they screwed up. There's still a word on the map. Bard ult missed. They tried to look for a pick instead of the Baron. They probably should have just looked for Baron and then pick. But this is what I was thinking. If you have enough ground, you could probably just start it. Closer had no vision, so he had to just go over right away. And he has to get out. And now they just finished Baron. Broken Blade is only 4 people by himself. Echo had to ult back to base.
He is in a 1v4, but he might not be stopped. He is simply too tanky. He walks away, and TSM get a clean Baron.
Nicely done. So they decided to pull out of the split push. They used Broken Blade for the flank there. He went for the flash follow on the Counter-Strike on FBI. Couldn't quite get that timing, but they forced out the cleanse.
And now they're doing the 1-3-1 where they just... I think they're just like 2-2. They're just letting super minions do the job. Demonte had a really nice flank. Oh my god. For double lift. Oh yeah, it took too long for them to kill double lift, so now they lose again. Yeah.
They're going for more. TSM trying to find this win, and they will most certainly do it. As those bars get low, it's kills across.
Alright, I think that's it. I don't think I had anything else to add. I want to see if they show the damage meters. Probably Azir most? No, they didn't show. Never mind. Maybe they show after. Analyst, no. They never show it. Anyways, key moments. Early game was pretty sloppy from both teams. I think TSM was the more proactive team, while GG around like the 10-minute mark they realized they need to do stuff and they tried to force something for about 2 minutes bottom lane. Which only worked because TSM then tried to overforce something instead of taking the free dragons. After they got the bot turret, after they got a bot turret and they sent their mid lane, their ADC mid, their Ashe Bard mid, and does your bot Game became and as your top. Game became really easy after that Herald play mid. Sorry, Azir was bot, Jax was top, they did a Herald play mid, then they snowballed really hard for like another 2 to 3 minutes, just off Echo being locked in the short lane with Azir. Short lane quote marks is just his team pushing vision on whichever side that he's kind of hugging. Once the Jax blew the TP, it's when GG started to get a bunch of picks on Azir, and that was their only way kind of back in the game, just getting like picks somehow. But overall, TSM won from outscaling, a few good plays from Bjergsen, or like the one really good play from him at the mid turret, as well as good vision control once they they were in the driving seat. Like for the Baron, it was really clean vision control. Uh, they were a bit impatient with it with Bardold, but overall they ended up outscaling and they won through that. They won draft and then they won in game as well. As I said in the part one, the draft of GG really put them in a corner to 1-3-1 where they have a losing one three of the 1-3-1s, and then if they're not in the driving seat where they have at least like 2 to 3k gold ahead by like 15 to 20 minutes, they end up just straight up losing later on. And yeah, I think that will conclude it. I'm gonna upload them and send them.